Are you munching or are you laying? Daphne. Hey, what's up friends? Chelsea here from Minimal Waste Living, and I am going away for a few days and there's a lot of plant care that I need to do. And so I thought it would be fun if we did some plant care together, and that could just kind of help me get motivated to do all of this. It's like 9 o'clock at night, the day before I leave, and why did I wait so long? I don't know. But here we are, and let's do this. Alright, so I've been super busy lately and I really haven't been as focused on my plants as I was a couple of weeks ago. I was like obsessed, like every second I was checking on them to see how they were doing. And then just like life started happening. And I don't know, it kind of got away from me, so I haven't kept as close of an eye on everything. So this is kind of my chance to do a once over and kind of look at everything and see where all the plants are at, and also just kind of give them whatever they need. So I don't know that I'm going to do everything on camera because I know there's a lot of things that I need to do. Probably the watering I'll do off camera, but I definitely know that the leaves need some, like a little bit of a wipe down, so that's something that I can start with. And I did get, so I told myself I wasn't going to get any more plants until, Daphne, what are you doing? Okay. All right. I told myself that I wasn't going to get any more plants until like I really got to know the plants that I have. Unless it was like a dream plant of mine, like a must-have. And I just happened to go to Walmart, I think it was, and I absolutely love Coleus Kong Rose plants ever since I worked in a nursery. I don't know, I'm obsessed with them. I think they're beautiful, and I don't really see them all that often, so I saw it and I was like, I have to get it. So I did kind of break my rule a little bit. I did leave myself a little bit of an exception, but yeah, they need a little bit of help. I got them at a significant discount because it's the end of the season for them for outdoor Coleus. I will be keeping it indoors. I did get 2 of them, and yeah, they look a little gnarly, so they need some help definitely before I leave, so I'll be doing that tonight. But yeah, I'm very excited that I now have some Coleus Kong roses in my care. But if you guys know what this plant is, please let me know because I do not know. It kind of looks like an angel wings. I know it's a begonia, I know that much, but it looks very different from my other begonia, which is this one right here. And I feel like I have a good idea of what this one is. Now, I'm not great at remembering names of plants, so give me a second. I have a little note in my phone where I keep track of plants that I have and also plants that I want to have. So I think that this one is a Begonia maculata. I don't know though. It's very hard to tell for me. So this is the one that I think is the maculata. I think that's how you say it. And then this one, I'm just kind of stumped. It has these like silvery, small, like speckles on it. I don't know. But I got this one from a Buy Nothing group that is around me, and somebody was just like, hey, I've got some extra begonias laying around, you guys want a cutting? And a bunch of people were like, yes please, and I was one of those people. And I don't actually like begonias. I think I'm kind of scarred by them from when I worked at the nursery I worked at, the plant nursery. I think they just were so prone to rotting and just getting insects, and it's probably because of the conditions that they were in. They were just so like closely packed together, and so it was just kind of a nightmare. And being on begonia duty at the end of the day was just not it. Or not at the end of the day, it was more like rainy days when nobody was around. We would do like more maintenance things, and just like deadheading all of the leaves and everything was just not it for me. So I'm kind of scarred by them. I'm giving them a chance. My intention was to get them and give them away once they were healthy enough, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. This Mother of Thousands is struggling in my care. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what it needs. Should I be wiping the leaves? I don't know. I've been like putting it in the grow light, taking it out of the grow light, letting it like really dry out, and then I don't know, maybe I'm just trying too many different things, but all of the babies have fallen off of the leaves, and so they're all kind of in the soil. I don't know if you can kind of see them, maybe, but if the mother plant doesn't do too well, then hopefully the babies will be okay. But I feel like this leaf is not serving the plant. So, bye-bye, friend. Because actually, the other leaves look okay. I think I was just concerned because none of them have babies on them. Although a lot of them are new leaves, so I guess it makes sense. But, and I also don't like succulents very much. This was a plant that I got, there's a school nearby that is a boarding school, and a lot of the kids that go there are not from around here. And so when they go back home after the school year, they just leave a bunch of stuff behind. So then the school just sells everything at a significant discount. And so I got a few plants from that. And I don't like succulents, but I like the idea of the Mother of Thousands. I think it's a really cool plant. And I really hope that I can figure out how to keep it alive and like what it needs. It looks like the babies are doing okay. They're starting, a few of them look like they're starting to grow. So maybe I'm doing something right. I'm really struggling with this Pilea Peperomioides. Is that how you say it? I don't know. But I've been trying to get this to root for a really long time. And now it's kind of yellowing and the stem doesn't look great. Yeah, it feels like it's like rotting. So if you have any tips for me on what I should be doing, please let me know, because I really like this plant and I would like it to live. Do I just cut you? Yeah. Where's the strong? Sorry, friend. Gotta do what we gotta do. And I'll get you some more water in a little bit. Just making cuts all over the place today. This plant, ooh, I love this plant. So this is another one that I got from that school. So there's gonna be some floor finds that I got on the floor of like a Home Depot, I think it was. There were 2 trips that I took there where I just saw all these broken stems on the floor. So I took them home and was like, hey, let's try to save you. And so those will be floor finds. And then the other ones from the school will be school finds. And if I have any other kind of weird stories about things, then I'll have like a little code name for them too. But this was a school find, and I had no idea what this was. I asked Samantha from Planted if she knew what this was, and she was like, I think it's a Syngonium, but I don't really know. And so she asked her, I think it was her TikTok, she asked people like, what is this plant? And everybody had all these different ideas of what it was, and then one person was like, I know what that is. It's a reverted Syngonium Albo. So I kind of see it, but then I kind of don't. So if you guys have any other ideas of what this could be, let me know. It is like growing like a weed. When I first got it, it was not really doing too hot, but now it's doing pretty well. It's got new growth like everywhere. And yeah, I'm just really happy with like how it's doing so far. And I think because the plant was struggling so much when I first got it, and like I didn't know what it was, I didn't know what kind of care it needed, I think I feel really proud of how well it's doing now because of that like whole journey that we went on. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And this is another plant that was a floor find. I have no idea what this is. A lot of them I couldn't find the mother plant, so I wasn't able to just kind of be like, oh, you came from here. And I don't know what this plant is. It kind of has like, I originally thought it was gonna have like heart-shaped leaves, but it really doesn't. But if you know what this plant is, don't know if you can really get a good look at it, please let me know, because this one is really cool and I'm so glad that it's finally rooting. It took a long time, but it has like a kind of a thick band down the center of the leaf that has like it's like a light green color. I don't know. That one looks a little different, but it's also a younger leaf. Ooh, I don't know. They're all growing in different, and maybe it's because it kind of went through it a little bit, so it's kind of just like struggling to find its shape. I don't really know. But all right, this one seems okay. I feel like all of my plants that are in water are going to be all right. I feel like it's the ones that are in soil that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go. This is my Monstera Peru. I got this one from Sam and it's doing really well. She told me it took a really long time. Well, she told me she had it in water for a long time and it never rooted, and then she gave it to me and then like within a week it rooted. So honestly I think she just needed to hold on to it for a little bit longer, but these roots are wild on here. It's almost ready to be potted up, but I'm honestly a little nervous to do that because it's doing so well in these conditions and I don't want to mess anything up. So I don't know. For now, I'm gonna keep her as she is. But yeah, she's doing pretty well. Make sure there's no like insect damage or anything. I did end up getting thrips on the butterfly, white butterfly Syngonium that I repotted in my last video. I think I said in that video that like I saw something on it, but then like I went back and then it wasn't there anymore, so I was like, I don't really know if it has pests, so I kind of just treated it like it didn't, which was maybe not the best idea. Oh, all right. I don't know if y'all can hear the dogs outside, but they are barking. This is my Monstera Deliciosa. This was not a floor find, but it was a cart find, I guess. There was this big cart at the corner, like the back corner of the outside space of a Home Depot, and there were just a bunch of plants just thrown in there that were perfectly fine and like savable. And they were just like ready to be sent to the trash, compost, I'm not really sure. But I happened to be with Sam that day because we just like to go, sometimes we just like to go to plant stores just to look at them. But we saw this cart and we were like, we have to save these plants. Like, even if we have to pay for them, like we hope we don't have to pay for them because they're destined for trash, but I mean, if we do, we will, because we want to save these plants. And look at how well it's doing. Like, it looks amazing. There's a couple of like not so great leaves, but like I absolutely love this plant. And I think because of like the story of how I got it, and she also got one too, and hers is doing great. I think the story just kind of makes me feel even better about how well it's doing, because it's like it would have just ended up as compost, and it's such a beautiful plant. So I feel really lucky to have this one. If you guys have any interesting plant stories of how you got some of your plants, please let me know. I love a good plant story. There were a few other plants that we got from that same visit, or the same cart at that Home Depot. And we will definitely get to those. But yeah, this plant was struggling a little bit. I didn't have it under the grow light initially. It was, I don't remember where I had it, but I don't think it was getting enough light, and it started yellowing, and it just was not happy. And then maybe a couple of days after I put it in the grow light, it just started sprouting new leaves everywhere. So I guess this one just needs to be in the grow light, and I guess she's just destined for this spot. Yeah, there's another new leaf growing in right here. It's crazy. Come on, friend. Now this is my orchid that I got, I think the day after Parcheesi passed away. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know Parcheesi. If you don't, she was the best dog ever. Love that girl. And I don't know, something about the orchid just kind of made me think of her, and I was like, wow, I think I'm gonna get that for her. And just one day it just went downhill. It was struggling and just not doing well, and I was panicking because I was like, no, this is Cheesy's plant. So I'm kind of at a place right now where I'm just really keeping a close eye on it to make sure that you know, it doesn't die on me. And I think ever since, so I originally had it in just moss, sphagnum moss, and it just wasn't doing too well. So then I ended up putting it in just bark, and then it still wasn't doing well. So I was like, all right, this is not working. I remember my uncle's boyfriend at the time. He had so many amazing plants, and then he had all these orchids that just had this loose moss around them, and he would just kind of like run them under the faucet and then put them on their beautiful windowsill that they had. It was kind of one of those box windowsills that kind of goes outside of the window. I don't know, I work in architecture, so I don't know why I don't know what that's called. But it was just like it just was the perfect spot for them. And he would just kind of, like I said, he would just run the roots with the moss underwater, and he would just kind of let it sit there and dry out and put it back in the pot. And it just seemed so simple, and I was like, I think I need to get back to like the simplicity of that. So I put an orchid bark mix at the bottom, and then I wrapped the roots in sphagnum moss. And I don't know what it is about this combination, but ever since I did that and put her under the grow light, she's been doing really well. She has a lot of aerial roots coming out. Not sure if you can see them, but a lot of the roots were dying and just like not doing well and like drying up and turning brown. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And I didn't see any other spots for any new roots to come in. And then, like I said, like not too long after I changed the medium that it was in and put it under the grow light, it just started thriving. So really, really happy about that. So you, my friend, go back to your spot. And so these are kind of, I've never really done prop boxes before. So these are kind of experiments for me. And so I just have a bunch of wet sticks in here. And okay, so there was a gnat in there, that's great. I don't know what these wet sticks are because it was literally just a stem that was on the floor of this Home Depot. This is a floor find. And they're doing really well. Some of them are starting to, well, hi Daphne. I don't know if you can really see in there, but some things are starting to grow. I think it's a little too soon for me to really know what these are, but I'm really happy to see that they're rooting. One, they're not rotting, which is great. Because when I first started doing this, I made it too wet in there, and some of the things I put in there ended up rotting, and I learned that lesson pretty quick. But yeah, they're starting to actually grow some leaves, so that's really promising. And then this one's actually doing even better than that one. There's only 2 in here. Was that one? I don't know. But this one has a nice little flower growing. Again, it's too soon for me to be able to tell what it is. But if, I don't know, maybe y'all will know if you see it and you can tell me. But it's a beautiful leaf. It's growing really well and seems really happy in here. So I'm gonna leave her be. All right. Oh yes. So this is a spider plant that is not doing well. There were some parts of it that ended up rotting, and I have never really rooted a spider plant before, so I don't know, like, I don't really see a node on here. So I don't know if this is like enough of a stem to really root from, but so far it's doing okay, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I think you're in just enough water. I think it was in maybe too much water before, and maybe it just wasn't getting room to breathe. But I think you're doing okay. There's a little snake plant in here that has, hi mama, that has a little root. The aloe here is, I just repotted that the other day, and so I'm gonna leave that alone for now. The pothos here, mama, you're kind of taking up the prime spot right here. This was actually another cart find, just like the Monstera Deliciosa. This was another plant that was left in that cart to just be thrown away. Look how beautiful that is and how much it's grown. It's crazy. If we went just one day later, these plants would not have been there. And honestly, if we went one day earlier, they probably still wouldn't have been there. Are you okay? Hey, easy now. That's the cheesy. We don't mess with cheesy. I don't know if this one really needs... Oh yeah, it does need a little water. I'm still trying to get used to Daphne Rose. I'm trying to get her to be better with plants. She does sort of sometimes have a habit of munching on them, especially when she's upset, when she doesn't feel like she's getting my attention and I'm giving them to my plants, or giving it to my plants. That's not for you to drink, baby girl. So yeah, I try to play with her now before I do any kind of plant care, so you should really be napping. is really what should be happening. And now she is currently laying in the peace lily. I don't know. I'm a dog mom. I don't know what this whole cat mom business is about. I've always been a dog mom. Having a cat is so new to me and just foreign. I don't know what I'm doing. Are you munching or are you laying? Daphne. Also, it is the middle of summer here, and you would not know that by the clothes I'm wearing. I have like a thick shirt on and sweatpants. If it's like at all a little chilly, I dress for winter. There's no in between for me. It's just like, it's either like shorts and t-shirt or winter clothes. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I just like, I can't be cold. My body doesn't know what to do. All right, you need a water, so we'll leave you over here. I'm kind of nervous about ZZs now because I kind of did not do right by this one ZZ that I tried to rescue. So I made a mistake. I ended up putting this ZZ plant under the grow light. So I didn't realize that ZZs do not like a lot of light. And so all of the leaves that were on here ended up yellowing and browning, and by the time I realized, it was too late. So I had to cut off all of the leaves, and now I believe it's rotting, and I'm really sad because I think this was going to be a really cool plant. And I do still have one leaf here. If there's any way that I can salvage this that you guys know of, please let me know, because I really do want to save this plant. Maybe you can get like maybe getting a look at it would be helpful. But there is still a leaf on here, but unfortunately along the stem, everything is kind of browned. So I don't know if it's savable, but that's where we're at. Let's put you back. We could use a little wipe down. This, I think, is a Philodendron Brasil. Is that right? I don't know. But you tell me. I don't know. It like looks like one, but it doesn't at the same time. I feel like when I look at pictures, they're very varied in what they can look like. So I definitely am making a lot of these videos in the hopes that you can help me figure out what some of these things are. Tell me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. And just, this is all just a big learning process for me. So I appreciate your guidance in advance. All right, friends. So this one I had under the grow light. I kind of went back and forth. I had it under the grow light, and then I think because of Daphne, I ended up moving it to the mantle up here, and then I felt like it wasn't doing as well as it was, so I put it back under the grow light, and then the leaves started curling, and I see a little bit of what looks like light damage or heat damage. Well, it can't be heat damage, so I'm guessing light damage. So I put it back up here, but I don't know if you have any advice on what good conditions that would be for that plant. Please let me know. Also, I think one other thing that helps the Monstera here is Daphne has a fountain that's right under where the leaves kind of go over the table. And I think the humidity that kind of comes from the fountain actually helped out that Monstera a little bit. So I think there are a few things that led to her. Were you always two? Okay, yes, I think so. This was not originally my plant. This was a gift from Samantha. So that's why I was kind of like, I don't know this plant very well. This is beautiful snake plant. I really like snake plants because they're very architectural and just like very structured. I like that about them. And I'm really hoping that this snake plant over here that I rescued, it has the variegation, like the light screen border around the edges. I really hope that it keeps the variegation through propagating. Honestly, the whole propagation process with that plant is not going well. It already rotted once, so I took it out of the water. I made a new cut further up the plant, and then I let it dry for I think 3 days, and then re-rooted with rooting powder, and then put it back in water. And that was only a day or so ago, so not much time has passed. But I'm really hoping that, one, it just kind of survives, and two, that it keeps the variegation. But Samantha did tell me that they tend to lose their variegation through propagating that way. And I also read that online too, so we'll see. But I think that's it for these. I do have the Coleus that needs to be potted up and just kind of figured out. And I do have a peace lily that I got from my mom. She was just like, I have too many peace lilies, please take one. And so now I have a peace lily. Again, I was not trying to get more plants, but here we are. Actually, you can go back up here. And again, a lot of these need water, but I'm gonna water them off camera. Daphne Rose, what are you doing? There we go. Friend, you're gonna have to go back here for a bit. I don't know about you, but I do not like these sticky traps. I think they're awful. I think they're inhumane. Part of me is just like, girl, you gotta do what you gotta do, because any kind of method like this, or like any kind of method of keeping gnats and things at bay is gonna be inhumane. But I don't know, they're just awful. I'm trying not to have like a fan or one of those ones that like attracts them, and I think it's a fan. I'm trying not to have one of those because I don't know, a lot of reasons. But these sticky traps, they get like stuck on everything, and sometimes when Daphne's being bad and she's up on the table, they'll get stuck to her, and that's, I mean, it's a lesson she needs to learn, because get off the table, right? But no, for real, I hate when that happens to her. It's only happened twice, but it was memorable for both of us. All right, I think I'm gonna start with the peace lily. Actually, let's just do that. And I hope you can see what I'm doing. No, you can't? Okay, then we'll do a flat mat. Okay, so this plant has been in isolation for a little over a week, so not too long, so I probably should get these plants a little farther away. Don't like those. Yes, and this plant needs some love. It needs some pruning. It needs maybe even a repot, because it feels like very overgrown in this pot. Let's see if there's even a drainage hole. No. Okay. Okay. I did not realize that this pot does not have a drainage hole, so I guess she will be getting a repot as well. I don't know if the battery is going to make it for all of this because it's been flashing for like 10 minutes. So we'll see how far we get. Okay, so these are just, this plant is struggling. She needs to just be repotted. All right. Why am I wearing white for this? I don't know. That was a poor choice. Oh yeah, okay. There's like no soil in here. It is just all root. Alright. I don't know how well you can see this, but very root bound, wet. I don't even know where to begin. There's just like, I think I'm not gonna mess with the roots too much. I think I'm just gonna put it in a bigger pot and just kind of let it breathe. And I think for now I'm just gonna prune. I got my parents a variegated peace lily for Christmas last year, but I didn't see them for a very long time, and by the time I did see them, it was not really doing too great. Like it was okay. It just kind of needed some love that I didn't really have the time to give, and unfortunately. You good, Daph? You want to say hi to the camera? I love you, Daphne. Oh, maybe don't put your head in there. I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah, so the variegated peace lily, I wish now, like now that I know that it didn't make it, I wish that I either one, kept it a little bit longer and waited to give it to them when it was in a better state, or two, I wish that they just told me that it wasn't doing well and was like, hey, what do I do? But unfortunately they didn't do that, and I didn't keep it long enough, or like I didn't keep it longer to get it into a better spot. But what can you do? But I guess the point of the story was I had never heard of a variegated peace lily before, and I'd never seen one, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And so I'm sad that it didn't make it, because such a cool plant and such like an interesting find, like the way that it just kind of like yes, I was at a plant store when I found it, but it just kind of like was like, hello, I'm here, get me, please. This plant. I've never been like a root cutter before. I'm not very confident in that, so I think I'm gonna leave it as it is. But I feel like somebody more experienced with plants would be like, yeah, I'm gonna cut these roots back, and I'm gonna do this. I don't know. Hello, Mama. Remember when we played so that you were supposed to be tired? We played for like an hour. Remember that? You know what my problem was? I waited too long between when we played and when I started this, because I got roped into watching the Olympics. It's been so good. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but I'm just rooting for everybody. Like, yes, of course I want the US to win, but like just hearing people's stories and I don't know, just like I love to root for the underdog. So when I know like one team is expected to win and then another team is just kind of like coming up and doing their thing, I'm gonna root for them. But there was this amazing volleyball game that was on between Brazil and the US, and it was wild. Like, it went to 5 sets, and I'm very into volleyball right now because I recently started playing with a league, and actually just had a double header the other night on Tuesday. So now when I watch, I can be like, ooh, I could be doing that when I play if I had those athletic abilities. But it is cool to like get tips and kind of have a different understanding of a sport when you play it versus just watching it. But yeah, that was a crazy game. I saw the US, who was it? US and Serbia, I think. Basketball game, the men's basketball game. The volleyball game was a women's game. But the men's game was crazy. I thought the men's US team was gonna lose. But I think it was just like the fourth quarter, they just were kind of like, all right, we gotta do this. And they made it happen. But what's your favorite Olympic sport to watch? I don't even know if I could pick a favorite, to be honest. I love swimming. I've grown to love volleyball now. I was always a swimmer, so that's why I love swimming. I love watching water polo. What else? Daphne, what else have we been watching? Now I can't think of any other things that I've been watching. And I've literally been watching them constantly. Gymnastics. Of course. I've been watching gymnastics. They were incredible. Incredible. I don't know how they do I don't know how they do any of the things that they do. I'm not gonna lie. I can barely do like a forward roll. So I don't know. The way that they just like flip around, and in the men's gymnastics, I feel like nobody really talks about the men's gymnastics. The things that they're doing is crazy. The one with the rings, where they just like kind of hold themselves up with rings and do flips and just like hold handstands. I can't even do like a headstand on the ground. Never mind on rings. I don't know. I do have a pull-up bar in the house, and it took me, I've had it for years. And when I first got it, it took me months to be able to do my first pull-up. And now I've reverted because I haven't been really focused on that kind of like exercise for a while. And so I'm back to square one where I can't do a pull-up again. And so I just have a lot of appreciation for what they all do. I think it helps too if you are like a sporty person. I always played sports growing up. Swimming, tennis, basketball. I did a little bit of soccer, but that was definitely not my sport. I would always like, when I was in the field, I would accidentally use my hands, and then they'd be like, all right, so use your hands, let's put you in goal. And then I'd be in goal, and then I would forget that I could use my hands, and it was just it was just not my sport. So I focused on other things. All right, she's looking a little better. I don't want to do like too much. I felt like she needed a water, and I still kind of feel like she does. But then I don't at the same time when I feel the roots. I think I'm not going to. I think it's overwatered. There we go. So there's actually some new leaves coming in, so that's promising. Oh, she's having her dinner. This battery is really hanging on. I'm impressed because, like I said, it's been flashing for like 15 minutes now. It's a very good heads up. What is your opinion on trimming leaves around damaged edges or like damaged areas? Do you think it's good for the leaves? Is it more just for cosmetic things and it doesn't really matter? Does it actually damage the leaves? What do you think? Because I have tried to research that, and I feel like what I've read is it kind of conflicts with other things. So I don't know. I feel like there's not really a consensus on if it's good or bad or if it doesn't matter. So I'm curious to know what you do, what you think. I feel like I kind of go back and forth where I'm like, yeah, I'll just do like a little bit of a cut. And then I'm like, why don't I just chop the whole leaf? Or sometimes I'd be like, no, I'll just kind of leave it. So I'm all over the place with that. I don't know what I'm doing. Wow, there's a huge, hello Daphne. There's a huge like center stem that's kind of poking out with all these potential aerial roots. That's really cool. Can you see her just laying here? She's too funny. She is very good company when she's not being bad. You being bad? No, right now you're being very good. Going through this plant is making me want to look at all of my mom's peace lilies. Like, is this the condition you have all your peace lilies in? But honestly, I feel like whenever I go to their house, their peace lilies are thriving. Like, they constantly flower. They look very full. I think it's maybe just this one that was maybe neglected a little bit and was just like maybe not placed in ideal conditions. And I think the pot not having drainage holes was a big contributor to this chaos. And I really hope that I have a pot big enough for this. I wish I had a nursery pot, but I think it's gonna have to go in. Yeah, I do not have a nursery pot big enough. Ooh. It might have to go in a terracotta pot. Give me a second. All right, yeah, the pot that I thought was gonna be big enough or hoped was gonna be big enough, a nursery pot, is definitely not. It's smaller than the original pot. Yeah, this is a pretty good size up from where it was. It definitely needs it. So let's see, let's do a little test. Yeah. I don't know how well peace lilies do in terracotta. I feel like probably it'll be good so that it can air out a little better than it was in the other pot it was in, this one. This one has a drainage hole at the bottom, so that's also another benefit. But yeah, all right. I'm so impressed by this battery just hanging on. I really thought it was gonna be over like a long time ago. But I think actually I'm gonna do a little cleanup first. And then we can repot. So we got the plant, we got the pot, soil. Okay, I feel like you cannot see my face at all. That's okay, it's more about the plant anyway. So, all right, so my camera did end up dying. So these are the Coleus rose plants that I got that need some help. But so beautiful. Like, these colors are just amazing, and they were even more vibrant when I first got them, but keeping them in isolation from my other plants is kind of, they're not probably getting the best lighting conditions as they would like to be, but pretty soon I'll have them under a grow light and they'll be doing great. And Daphne has the zoomies. I don't know if you can hear her running back and forth, but she sounds like a horse. And here is the peace lily, repotted. Probably needs a little bit of a water. I'm not really sure if she's droopy because of all of the stress that it's just gone through or what, but I think I'm gonna give a little bit of a water. But look at this new leaf coming. Hello, new leaf. So that makes me feel, I don't know, I feel good about that. It feels promising that it's gonna bounce back and be okay. But yep, so this is the repotted peace lily, and hopefully she flowers soon. So now that I am editing the video days later, I'm realizing that I never showed what the final potted up Coleus rose looked like. So this is how they look. All I did was just cut away the woody part of the stem that was closest to the root and just potted up the green parts of the stems and just put them, some of them in rooting powder, some of them not, just to do a little bit of an experiment, and literally just plop them in the soil, and hopefully they will be rooting soon and will look vibrant and wonderful. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and doing some plant care. I hope that you are able to get some things done on your end as well. Hi, Daphne. And I hope that you enjoyed Daphne's antics. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great night, and I'll see you soon.